Y'all, what is up? What is good? How you doing? Today, BlackGhostFace is here. Is here to do a reaction from BMAs called A Terrifying Camping Encounters That'll Give You Chills by BMAs. Now, it has been a while since I went live here, but hey, I'm here for it though. But hey, I will say this, stay tuned. Stay tuned for next month, as the vote poll made it pretty much obvious that y'all want to see me go live to WWE. At first I was thinking about going live to it because, it's wrestling. And who doesn't, people still enjoy wrestling even though it's, not how it once was back then. But, we'll be jumping in to this video. Enjoy.
Camping as a kid, but it's not all toasted marshmallows and bedtime stories. Some people have had far more sinister experiences. From haunting footage of supposed skinwalkers to a disturbing visit from a ghostly child. Here are some of the most terrifying camping encounters that are sure to give you chills.
Also, stay tuned for my
Caught in the Act
horror reaction series.
Even if I was in the best shape of my life, you wouldn't catch me hiking. I've heard far too many horror stories. Take Reddit user Hell's Banshee. Back in 2017, she'd gone for a long day of hiking and wildlife watching with her dog in Saskatchewan, Western Canada. When the light was starting to fade, she set a night vision trail camera up outside her tent and hit the hay. But Banshee's well-earned slumber was disturbed in the middle of the night by the sound of her dog growling. There was some kind of rustling coming from outside their tent. Writing it off as some particularly loud foxes, Banshee managed to get back to sleep. The next day came and she crawled out of bed eager to check her cam footage from the night before. The excitement soon turned to fear. Rather than foxes, she saw this. What looks like 3 humanoid figures had begun rummaging around near her tent. Only their heads seemed to be oddly long, and Banshee guessed they must have been as tall as her hip. So what gives? Were they goblins? Gnomes? Demons? Well, none of them seemed particularly likely, but with the nearest town being 45 minutes away, it seems less likely that it was just some kids going on a midnight berry hunt. I don't know, something about this image sends shivers up my spine. If it was people, what the heck were they doing? And if it wasn't, well, I'd rather not think about it.
Why would you go camping in the middle of nowhere? And sure, yeah, you brought your dog, you brought your equipment to where just in case someone try to sneak up on you, but why? Why? Is it because you love Mother Nature? Okay, yeah, I get it. Being away from the cities and all that, the towns, the people, but night crawlers, skinwalkers, bears, maybe a mountain lion. You don't know what lurks in the woods at night. No one knows. But all I know is this person has been gone missing ever since that night. And that was 3 months ago. We looked everywhere in the woods but couldn't find no trace. None. Not even if it's like a doggone shirt or pants or shoes or something. Nothing. This girl got kidnapped. Dog got ate up all entirely, even the collar and everything. Why would you go camping? Unless you bring a gun or something. Okay, sure, but still, better safe than sorry. I'm not going camping.
Santa crazy. Christmas is my favorite time of year, but if I'd had the utterly bone-chilling experience Reddit user Jammin had at the age of just 5, I'd think it very differently. During the holiday period, Jammin had gone camping in the Aussie bush with friends and family. There were 9 kids in total, and their parents had given them walkie-talkies so they could wander off a little as long as they came back when they were told. Only it wouldn't be Mom or Dad that contacted them that night. While exploring the maze of densely packed trees, there was a sudden burst of static, and Jammin's walkie-talkie came to life. A strange voice crackled out 3 sinister words.
It's me, Santa.
The spooky voice told the kids that he was there to give them their presents and said they should come further into the darkness of the woods to find him. Luckily, the oblivious kids were so excited at the idea of talking to Santa that they ran back to their parents to tell them the good news. Of course, it wasn't really good news at all. Horrified by what they were told, the kids' parents confiscated the walkie-talkies and forbade the children from going off unattended for the rest of the campout. They were bummed at first, but they came around in the end, because whoever had spoken to them through their walkie-talkie that night definitely wasn't Santa. The Crawling Whisperer.
You know what? I am glad the parents managed to know, man, the kids could have been gone. That could have been a whole FNAF fatality for all I know. Bro. Now, I know the thing about these types of vids, of course, like most of them, or none of them, it's like real or whatever, but still, you don't know what lurks in the woods. Could be a whole psychopath dressed up as Santa. Could be a psychopath dressed up as a clown. Could be a skinwalker. We don't know. Could be Bigfoot for all I know. Like still, like there's things that lurks in the woods that's just mysterious as the deep blue sea.
If you hadn't got the idea yet, wandering off into the woods while camping is a bad idea. But when you're a kid, your sense of danger isn't properly developed yet. Something Reddit user KMIA Official can attest to. When he was around 14 years old, he went camping with his family and some friends at a state park. Every night, he'd head out into the woods with a pal to explore. They'd bring flashlights, but preferred to try to navigate in the dark. Only one night, they got much more than they'd bargained for. See, KMI and his friend opted to walk a little further out than usual. Everything was going fine until they heard something unsettling behind them. A faint whispering. The pair swung around in horror and scrambled to turn on their lights, but the beams pierced through the darkness and revealed nothing. Maybe their minds were just playing tricks on them? Not wanting to imagine the alternative, they continued on their way, but it wasn't long until they heard it again. A low, sinister whispering. Again, they spun around with their flashlights, and again, they saw nothing.
Trembling.
Well and truly creeped out, they turned to begin a mad dash back to the safety of the campground and stopped dead in their tracks.
I don't see how that's a dash.
Crawling
okay.
inhumanly along the forest floor was a horrific monster. KMI went to scream, but then his eyes adjusted and realized it wasn't a monster at all. A grown woman was crawling around, whispering to herself on the ground before them.
Nope. I don't know what. Nah. Whispering to herself on the ground. Nah, man. Nah, that is a sign to where I'm never going camping again.
That might be even creepier. The eerie figure was clad in dark clothes and covered in dirt. Neither KMI nor his friend could move. Then the woman locked eyes with KMI, slowly stood up and spoke. Turns out she was just super drunk and had fallen over and lost her way. Jeez. Being the model citizens they are, the pair of friends helped her back to camp. They lucked out that time,
they
but
made
memory
that
of it
real
still haunts
creepy,
them
though.
today. The Black-Eyed Child.
What?
Back in 2022, British tabloids reported on a story so horrifying it made me never want to leave the house again. You'd better buckle up. A teenage couple, who chose to stay anonymous, were camping in Cannock Chase Forest, Staffordshire. On the face of it, the forest appears to be a beautiful slice of English wilderness, but its vast expanse harbors a dark secret. See, Cannock Chase is a known paranormal hotspot. Bigfoot, UFOs, werewolves, you name it, somebody's seen it there. Something the two teenagers were about to realize.
Wouldn't I be surprised if I
At
saw
about midnight, the
saw
couple heard
Bigfoot?
something moving around outside of the tent. Assuming it was a deer, they stayed quiet, not wanting to spook it. That changed when they realized the sound was human footsteps. Hesitantly, they reached over and unzipped the tent to peer out. Suddenly, the footsteps stopped and were replaced by something much worse, an eerie, childlike laugh. Oh man. Holding their breath, the couple shone a flashlight into the gloom and had to choke back a scream. Something was darting between the trees around them. It looked like a small girl, but its movements were far too fast and erratic. As they stared in terror, the figure suddenly stepped out into the clearing. And then,
And you tell me you don't have a
really hit.
You ain't got no gun or
Instead of
anything?
eyes, the girl had two black circles where they should have been. The giggling grew louder and louder, as if it was coming from all around them. Then the child ran off into the shadows as quickly as it had appeared, plunging the woods into silence again. The petrified couple huddled together in their tent, unable to sleep until daybreak. When they finally emerged, they noticed strange piles of stones around their tent and odd stick structures hanging from nearby trees.
No.
Safe to say, they ran and didn't look back.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty smart.
And this spine-tingling encounter is far from the only one of its kind in those spooky woods. The black-eyed children of Cannock Chase is such a prolific legend that books have been written on the subject. A number of children went missing in the area back in the 1960s, and some say they became restless spirits, doomed to haunt the woods forever. As for why they have black eyes, beats me. All I know is I'm never going to Cannock Chase Forest.
I'm never going camping. Let alone the forest, never going camping in general. Like, I just don't I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, I know that camping is fun. We bring your friends, your family, your loved ones. Yes, that's nice and all. But whatever happened to, I don't know, like bringing something to defend yourself? You know, like, well, I don't have a gun, but like I have a lethal weapon just in case it's like maybe a wild animal or something, or maybe a lunatic, like that girl, like that woman in the last one. She could have got shot, cause if you're going with your friends in the woods, hiking and traveling and all that, I don't know, maybe you lost a deer or something, and you see something like that, she probably got shot. She would have got shot immediately if you see a face like that looking at you.
The Scream. If there's one thing I've learned from horror movies, it's that summer camp is never a good idea. Reddit user The Flying Cheese obviously
Just
didn't get
camping in
that
general
memo
is not a
though.
good idea.
She worked at a campsite way out in the woods of Southern California. One night, Cheese was putting her group of kids to bed when her friend Sadie suddenly came sprinting towards her, petrified, followed by her entire cabin of campers. Apparently, Sadie had taken her group on a night hike when they'd heard what sounded like a small child yelling for help. At least it started out sounding that way. The scream repeated over and over. As it did, it became increasingly distorted. Eventually, it no longer resembled anything human
You
at
telling me
all.
you would go to the woods?
Understandably, Sadie and her group had bolted. After hearing what Sadie had to say, Cheese reluctantly agreed to head out and investigate. So, they both set off into the woods. And it wasn't long before they heard it. A horrid, demonic cry that echoed all around them, piercing the still night. Again and again it repeated until, overwhelmed with fear, the duo pegged it back to the safety of the campgrounds and told anyone that would listen. The next day, the camp director held a meeting. It wasn't to tell everyone that demons had been spotted around the camp. Nope. The director wanted to warn everybody not to be alarmed if they heard high-pitched, unnatural-sounding noises from the woods, as they were probably just bobcats. What? Yep, these North American wildcats can make noises that sound downright demonic.
And you still want us to still go hiking?
Ooh. Yeah, I'd be freaking out too if I heard that in the middle of the woods at night. Though bobcats could technically harm you, attacks are incredibly rare. Cheese and Sadie felt pretty embarrassed about the whole situation, but then again, what if the camp director was wrong?
That's what I don't get. So you telling me, like, if you heard a scream, even if it's from a bobcat, you still want to go hiking? You still want to just, it's probably nothing serious. Probably, just some bobcats out there. Still, you want to continue this. The moment I would have heard something like that, I would have left. I would have went straight home, and that would have been the end of that. Like, I'm not going, like if you're going hiking, camping, do it in broad daylight. The moment the sun going down, it's time to go. I'm not spending the night out here. You got me confused with someone who is waiting to die or go missing the next day. No, I'm going home. Like, oh look, it's 6 p.m. I'm out of here. About to get home like at 7 or something, and there you go. Look at that. We can go camping tomorrow morning. Other than that, I'm going home.
Phantom Sniffer.
Got me confused.
Tucson, Arizona.
Think I'm sleeping
Reddit
outside
user
at night.
minus the Leela was camping with some
the
friends in the
woods?
wilderness outside
Okay.
of the city. One night, he was jolted awake by a strange noise outside the tent. It sounded like sniffing. Petrified, he lay there silently as he could, straining his ears. Could it be a bear? Whatever it was, it seemed to be moving away now to one of his friends' tents.
Bro, that's some strong
Minus
sniffing.
sat up and nudged the two guys he was
Guys,
sharing his
wake
tent
up.
with, but they were both already wide awake. They'd heard it too. Moments later, the taut silence was broken by a blood-curdling scream. Minus and his friends rushed to unzip their tent and see whatever the heck was happening, and were shocked. One of their friends from the other tent was screaming and waving a gun at some kind of animal. Only, with utter horror, Minus realized it wasn't an animal at all. It was a person. A person had been sniffing their tents. Luckily, Minus's armed pal managed to chase off the creep, and the shaken group immediately started packing up.
That's right.
And that's when they realized that whoever it was had been rummaging through their cooler and food storage too. Okay, so maybe it was just some hungry homeless man? Well, that doesn't explain the sniffing, does it?
I mean, that sniffing was
That
loud.
doesn't explain the sniffing at all.
It was strong. I mean,
Stench of the beast.
ASMR.
One evening
sniffing.
back in 1993, a Reddit user going by Chicken Cider was out camping with his dad in Cowlitz County, Washington State. They were sat around the campfire when little Chicken saw something moving amongst the nearby trees.
Yeah, I seen
Grabbing a
something with a
flashlight, he
thriller.
shone it into the branches and was confronted by a pair of glowing red eyes. A cold sweat dripped down his brow. What was he looking at? Or rather, what was looking at him? Suddenly, a few sticks and rocks flew from the tree line towards the fire. Chicken and his dad flinched, but then the eyes disappeared, and the
Chicken
night
and his
grew
dad.
still again. After a tense wait, the duo
you
concluded
imagine
that whatever it was
Can you
had
imagine
gone,
a child named
and
Chicken?
they hit the hay.
And
Big mistake. They
humiliation
were
at
woken
school.
with a start. Footsteps were pacing right outside their tent, and a horrendous stench was permeating the air. Chicken's dad bolted upright and began shaking the tent wildly, shouting for the mystery entity to leave.
Chicken.
The whole insane ordeal seemed to go on for an age, but eventually the footsteps bolted off and the smell subsided. Neither Chicken Cider nor his father ever found out what was terrorizing their camp that night, though that hasn't stopped people theorizing. One Redditor suggested it could have been a
Give
squirrel,
your child
but
food
come on.
and ingredients.
That doesn't explain the footsteps or the stink. All I'm saying is, Washington has the highest number of Sasquatch sightings of any U.S. state, over 700, and the huge hairy cryptid is widely reported to have a terrible odor, as well as easily being big enough to cause some hefty footsteps. Could Chicken and his dad have had a narrow escape from Bigfoot himself? We'll never know for sure, but I can be sure they were glad to be light sleepers that morning. And you'll be glad if you hit those like and subscribe buttons down below. That way you'll never miss out on another spine-tingling video like this one. When you're done, let's press on to more tales of terror.
Okay, so I can ask y'all this. Does Bigfoot exist? Who knows? But the real question is, would you be curious and go camping and find out? I want to know who named Chicken. Can you imagine a parent name you Chicken? The word chicken, you would immediately go and get that name changed. Embarrassment level 100 at school, anywhere.
Arachnophobia. If there's one thing that creeps me out more than spooky footage, it's spooky, unexplained footage. This haunting clip seems to have originated on Reddit, though we know absolutely nothing about it. A few friends are camping in an undisclosed location and having a generally good time. Then, one of the group disappears.
No, for legit though, like, Alexis has been gone for so long trying to actually poop.
Okay, but like, you gotta like track to go find a good place.
Yeah, you do, but this has been too long.
They wait for Alexis to return, but after 10 minutes, still nothing. Then...
Oh, ow, man.
Oh,
let me
heard a
enhance that.
scream.
Oh, ow, man.
Yeah, that was a distant scream.
Yeah, he gone.
A few brave members of the group set off into the gloom to find their lost friend, but, well, just watch.
Alexis? Alexis? Alexis?
What?
Can't see it very... Yeah. Wait. Okay, be careful.
See, why they look like a 10?
Okay. Okay.
Ooh, that look like a house. Ooh.
What was that? Slowing down the footage, we can see a terrifying humanoid figure with multiple limbs. Whatever it is, it must have hauled Alexis into that weird wooden shelter and then turned on the rest of the group.
That's a house
If
right
anybody
there.
has any idea where this footage was taken, let me know down in the comments, and maybe we can get to the bottom of this. I still really hope it's just some student film project. Either way.
If it was,
I'm not
that's a
sleeping tonight.
really good project. Bro, nah, man. And you know what else they did for a rookie mistake? If you're going out to go, hey guys, I'm gonna go out and take a piss real quick in the darkest part of the woods. Someone need to come with me, because I'm not going by myself. I would pee literally around y'all, because I'm not going out there. You got me confused. I'm not going out there. Look, you see how dark it is? I don't care if I have a flashlight. I'm not going out there. I could get picked off, and it'll be too late. That person got picked. Well, she got picked off. She got drugged away. And if you see like a house or a shelter in the middle of nowhere, you think, you see that? Curiosity. Go get you killed. But like I said, you don't know what could be out there in the woods, man. Especially if it's like very freaking dark. That's when they come out and get you.
A skin walk in the woods. In 2020, a YouTuber named Leviathan uploaded an unsettling video to the web. He'd been hearing strange noises coming from his barn, so set out to investigate.
now. You better have a gun or something on you.
What the heck was that? If we pause just here, you can see something on top of that structure. Oh, yeah, I'd have run away too. Unlike me, however, Leviathan was brave. Or stupid enough to go looking for whatever it was again.
Again.
Shortly after the first
saw
video,
what it was and
he
you took
uploaded
off.
this.
You got me messed up. You think I'm going to investigate that noise? What?
Jeez. Then he never uploaded again. Naturally, these terrifying vids had commenters going crazy. Some speculated Leviathan had been attacked by a skinwalker. These evil shape-shifting witches originated in Navajo culture, a Native American people of the southwestern United States. As such, many people drew comparisons between Leviathan's experience and this hair-raising image.
Bro, look at that! What you think you're doing after you see something like that at night? And you see, if he didn't have a flashlight, it'd been pitch, it'd been like Outlast dark, where I can't see in front of my hand. I can't see anything. Something like that. Looking in the, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning type dark. Bro, it's like there is no sun at all type dark. You see something like that? Man, nah. You see, that is exhibit proof to where I'm never going camping.
Once reported on by news outlets as a real skinwalker, I can thankfully say that the infamous photo is actually from a 1982 horror movie called Extro. Whew. Well, that said, I can't say the same for Leviathan's experience.
Nah.
Did he actually encounter a real-life skinwalker? I really hope there's a less disturbing reason, but with his YouTube channel dead, we may never know.
The world may never know.
Terror in Pocomoke. The Pocomoke Forest in Maryland, USA is one of the most notoriously haunted places on Earth. From tales of a sinister man with a hook for a hand to sightings of mysterious flying balls of fire, it's somewhere I'm happy to never visit. YouTuber CJ Faison, however, shares a different view. Back in 2020, he decided to brave an overnight stay and record it for the whole world. So, he headed off deep into the woods and set up camp.
Nice knowing you.
After he was done, he set out to explore the surrounding area. But then...
Hey, I congratulate you. Balls of steel.
Someone was out in the woods with him. What were they doing out so late?
Not someone, something. Hold up.
CJ managed to retreat somewhere he thought was safe, but then things went from bad to worse.
Should have had a gun on you, man. A twig snap. Acting like a deer. Heard a twig snap. I'm gone.
Luckily, CJ made it back to his tent. After an incredibly tense wait, it seems he passed out from sheer exhaustion. The camera, however, kept rolling and captured something absolutely spine-chilling.
They're right outside. That person is right outside. You think I'm going to sleep in the middle of nowhere at nighttime? Could easily just tear a hole with a knife.
CJ gladly rushed out of there the following morning, but was apparently mortified on watching the footage back. Who was that person with the flashlight? Was it just a hunter or something much, much worse? Or do you think CJ's having us all on? Well, let me know your theories down in the comments.
Now that's the thing too. People do that. People actually can do that to where, hey, listen, I'm gonna go out into the most dangerous areas in the world all by myself to get some footage and all that. But you see, like some individual causing noises here and there. What was that? Did you hear that? Let's go investigate. Like, come on now. In real life, you really think anyone's gonna go out there in the middle of the woods by themselves? No, because it's called intelligence.
The Faceless Man. Back in the early 2000s, a father and his then
People do this just
13-year-old
for the
son
views.
were driving to a deer lease in rural Texas. For the sake of the story, I'll call the son James. Apparently, the lease had been overrun with wild hogs, so the twosome were headed down for a week of hunting to help get rid of them. What followed would be one of the most haunting experiences of their lives. They arrived in the early evening and were directed to the dusty old cabin they'd be staying in for the weekend. There was nothing particularly terrible about the sleeping arrangement, but James found it oddly difficult to nod off. It was almost like something was watching him. Regardless, the next morning, father and son set out to begin their hog hunt. At first, everything was as expected. They forced their way through the foliage, following bits of torn-up ground, the telltale signs of their quarry. But as they got deeper into the dense woodland, James's dad suddenly grabbed his arm, stopping him in his tracks. Around 50 yards away was a figure, partially obscured by trees. This was private land. Nobody was supposed to be here aside from them. So, who was that? Slowly, the pair crept towards the mysterious person. Luckily, whoever it was had their back turned and didn't appear to have seen them. James's dad called out, telling them they needed to leave. No response. Sensing danger, he unclipped his pistol holster and he called out again.
Okay.
Still nothing.
See that? He came
So,
prepared.
gesturing for James to stay put, he passed around to the front of the man and jolted bolt upright, utterly confused. "What's wrong?" James asked. His dad beckoned him over. And then James understood. It wasn't a man at all. It was a mannequin. Somebody had dressed it up and left it in this remote location.
What?
But why? Something felt very wrong. The mannequin looked pristine, as if it had been erected no longer than a day ago. With a growing sense of dread, James realized he felt like he was being watched again, and this time, he could see his dad felt it too. Wasting no time, they both fled back to the cabin, packed up, and drove straight home. As soon as they got back, James's dad called the landowner and told him about the mannequin. But when he went searching for it, he found nothing. It was gone without a trace. Moo. James is convinced to this day that it had been set up as some kind of trap. If so, what would have happened if they'd stuck around? And who set it up? Yeesh. It doesn't bear thinking about. A fatal snuggle?
What?
African safaris can be dangerous as heck, and even experienced guides sometimes run into trouble. Reddit user The Africa Bug is one such
like
guide. While camping out in the African
Why would you mess with
savannah,
a wild
he awoke
animal?
one morning with something
Think it's
big and
friendly.
warm pressed against his back. No, Bug wasn't sharing his shelter with a sumo wrestler. He was in there alone, lying against the wall of the tent, so something outside must have been resting against him. And whatever it was huge. Bug's friend was camping out in a tent just a few feet away, and Bug heard him nervously ask if he was awake. Flustered and scared, Bug said he was. Uh-oh. The huge mass behind him suddenly stirred. He'd been too loud. A few tense moments passed. Both
Sound
Bug
like a
and his
bear.
friend deathly silent. Then, thankfully, whatever it was stood up and slinked off. Whew! And a good job, too. It turns out Africa Bug had been cuddling with an adult male lion. Yikes.
Ooh.
If it had wanted to, the dangerous cat could have diced our boy into a million tiny pieces. By sheer chance, though, it only wanted some warmth that night. Catastrophe avoided.
You think you're funny with that, huh? You think you got jokes with that, huh? Someone could have really died that day, and you want to make puns with that. Okay, but yeah, okay, that one is believable. I've seen videos like that, but again, question: why do you want to go camping? Because you never know what could happen to you. Adult lion. An adult lion was sleeping right beside him. Now just thinking that lion was hungry or curious to know, wait a minute, something touched my back. Huh, let me go see what's inside here. And my boy would have been eaten up. That boy would have been gone. That man would have been dead, man, along with his friend too. What would you do if a lion is attacking your friend? Were you just gonna try to fight the lion off or something, or just run for your life?
Behind the tree. Back in 2008, a short, grainy clip was uploaded to video platform Dailymotion. Supposedly filmed in the French commune of Flassy, it shows some kids enjoying a little campout in the woods until they're shocked by something behind a nearby tree.
Why? You got stuff like this happening, and you telling me? No! Look how dark it is! Y'all could be surrounded for all I know. What was that?
What was that?
Ooh.
The uploader, Nils017, thought it was an alien, titling the video Encounter of the Third Kind in Flassy. It looks more like some kind of demon spawn to me, though.
Like you can't see
Whatever
the eyes
it was,
either.
it seems to have been scared off before it could do anything nefarious. Of course, that's assuming the footage isn't totally phony. Nils017 uploaded several other videos after that one, and they seem to suggest he was an amateur filmmaker. But would an amateur filmmaker have had access to such convincing special effects back in 2008?
I mean, that is
I'm
really
not so
convincing,
sure.
honestly.
What do you think? Real monster or fake footage? Let me know down below.
You know what I mean?
Stranger danger. Ghouls and ghosts may be scary, but people are usually the real terrors. Something Reddit user Random Buddha and his girlfriend found out the hard way when they were on a hiking trip in Guatemala. On their second night, the couple set up camp deep in the woods when a colossal thunderstorm rolled in, setting the stage for the unsettling events that were to come. Around 4 a.m., Random awoke with a start. Through the wind and rain, he was sure he heard voices outside. Slowly, he unzipped the tent and stepped out, and was confronted by two strangers pointing rifles at him. Oh man. Petrified, Random ordered his now wide-awake girlfriend to stay in the tent. But she was too worried about him and came out too. The couple stood facing the ominous gunman, and it looked like it was all over. But then, the men explained they were just hunters, lost in the woods and seeking shelter. Relieved, Random offered them some coffee, which they gratefully accepted. It wasn't over yet, though. Not 30 seconds later, the storm got so bad that a huge tree crashed down directly onto their tent.
Wow.
Cripes. If Random hadn't left to check the noise, and his girlfriend hadn't ignored his advice, they both would have been completely crushed. Man, the two were shaken to their core, but alive.
Everything happens for a reason.
So in a wild twist, they actually owe their lives to those scary guys. Doesn't mean I recommend befriending armed strangers, though.
Yeah.
Macabre masks.
But you gotta choose.
Now, these
between
next few
them
haunting
and
tales
the
aren't
fallen
strictly
tree.
camping related, but we're far too deep into these spooky woodland tales to leave them out. This clip was uploaded to YouTube by a user named BloodZack12.
Blood is Act 12.
While exploring a nearby forest with his friend one frigid night, they stumble across something a little strange.
A mask. Like, whoa.
Okay, that probably shouldn't be there. Further along, they find another mask, this time stuck ominously to a tree. For the same reason, the duo take it with them, which would prove to be a huge mistake.
I'm trying to see where this is playing at. Someone said it right there? What the?
Holy mother of... It looks like those masks were some kind of trap laid out by whoever that guy was.
In the middle of nowhere.
But before you get too worried about blood, Zach, don't. Despite what many corners of the internet think, I've looked into it and the video isn't actually real.
Yeah.
Yep, it's a super scary horror short put together by Zach and his pal. Woo! That said, this next piece of footage certainly is real. Over in New Zealand in 2015, a group of film students were working on a short skit when they noticed two masked strangers in the distance. The students carried on filming, but the strangers wouldn't leave. In fact, they started coming closer. Then, they realized the masked figures were armed. Okay, it was time to panic. The young filmmakers called the cops, and thankfully they were quick to show up. However, despite a lengthy search, the mysterious masked menaces evaded detection. Who were they? What did they want? Well, in a twist of fate, they came forward and turned themselves in. Turns out the whole thing was just one very stupid prank. The guns were plastic, and the masks were from a Halloween store. Jeez. The police let them off without charging them, but I'm sure the image of them watching from the woods still gives those students nightmares today. Okay, guys.
Not really. I'm gonna say this. Not really. Because if you pull, look, alright. First off, this was a pretty good video though. There was some moments that really would give you a chill effect. I think the best one out of this was the fact that that girl got took away and they saw a little shelter and a 6-armed humanoid spider came out. That part I would believe. That part would seem very legit. But pulling pranks like those, man, like the mask and trying to scare people, yeah, that's a good way to get shot. It really is. And you can't blame me for shooting someone that is, let's say, on my property or staring me down for a long, long time with the mask on too. Just standing there. Not saying nothing, like a whole mannequin. Like that mannequin that was in the woods. You can't do that. Nowadays, it's like if you do something weird like that and the person has a gun, they're going to shoot. They're not going to ask because you're not going to get the chance to do or say anything. So don't do pranks like that. Don't say it was just a prank, bro. It was just a prank, bro. I was just kidding. Don't do that. You gonna get it. You really gonna get it. But either way, though, this was good, y'all. Stay tuned, y'all. Stay tuned for more contents to come. And also, for those of y'all that did not see the news, for those who voted on should I do WWE live and everything, yes, you're going to see that. It's going to be happening on my Discord exclusively. But don't fret the small stuff. If you miss it, I will just upload the public version on YouTube, because we all know if going live to WWE, that's pretty much not going to happen like that. But other than that, y'all, stay tuned for next month, because it's going to be happening. It's going to be going down over there. If you want to see it, hey, Discord link is in the description. But if y'all want to stay tuned, y'all, stop the buttons down below. You'll see the next video. But hope you have a good day, y'all. Stay safe, and yeah. Peace. Man, that humanoid spider. Nah.